get you done in time for the Can show.
Oh, okay.
All right? Now, my name is Teresa, and I am one of the historians out here. This will be a walking tour, but since I cannot walk backwards and talk at the same time, we're going to stand here for a couple of minutes and talk. You're going to go stand right down there, and further down there, and out there, okay? Okay. The story of Old Tucson begins in 1939. In that year, Columbia Pictures came to Arizona. They came to Tucson, though, thinking it was still going to be this Wild West rough and tumble town. Only to get here and find out we were up to date and modernized. Gosh, we had cars and streetlights and everything. Not going to work to shoot a period western there. They scouted around the local lands, found this beautiful piece of desert surrounded by these gorgeous mountains. Thought this would be ideal. Well, Pima County owns all the land out here. So they worked out a deal with the county to lease the land, and they allowed them to build a movie set. Now they had a budget of about $2.5 million for that movie, which was unheard of back in 1939. But they were up against a couple other recently released movies. There's that one about some wizard in Oz, and blowing and gone with the wind. So they were gonna pull out all the stops, even shoot this new movie in Technicolor. However, they get out here, they're building their movie set, spending all kinds of money. World War II breaks out. Well, they panicked. Back then, Europe is where they made all the money with those Western movies. With a war going on, they didn't know what was going to happen. But they already sunk about $500,000 into building this place. So they knew they were going to have to go ahead and use it. So they decided to scale back on some things, stuck with plain old black and white, went ahead and shot their movie. In November of 1940, it had its world premiere right here in downtown Tucson, showing in 5 theaters throughout our city, which is all we had. The population back then was only about 30,000 people. Now with the war going on, nothing else happened out here during those years. Virtually became a ghost town. Soon as the war was over, though, Hollywood came right back out here again. They would lease the land from Pima County. They might make changes to some of the existing buildings or even add buildings, whatever was going to suit their movie's needs. When they're done filming, though, they pack up all their stuff, head back to Hollywood, leaving it empty again. It went on and on like that till about 1958. By then, the county thought, you know, we have this whole town out here. Surely we could do more at this place than the occasional movie. That's when they leased it to a private individual, an entrepreneur from Kansas City, Missouri, named Robert Shelton. Bob held the lease out here for 25 years. Thus, the museum is called Shelton Hall in his honor. When Bob took over, he dedicated himself to making it a great movie destination. Back in those days, his wife, Jane, was a member of the Lowe's family, who owned Lowe's Theaters. They used to also own MGM. They used those ties to get more movies out here. He is also the one that turned it into the Western theme park that you're enjoying today, adding the Huntington Train, the Carousel of the West, the haunted Iron Door Mine. When Bob was ready to open to the public in January of 1960, he was kind of concerned. Are people really going to want to spend their hard-earned money to see this place? You know, on opening day, he had over 15,000 people waiting out front to pay 25 cents each to see where the movies are being made. Not a lot has changed since then, except what, $20 on your entrance fee? That's not bad inflation since 1960, really. In the heyday, Old Tucson was the second most popular tourist destination in all of Arizona. Second only?
Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon. Yesterday, two guys blurted out Tombstone. They both got shot. They got nothing on us down there. We used to have over 500,000 visitors every year back in the day. Now, obviously, we don't do those kinds of numbers anymore. Western movies and TV shows are not what they used to be. But if you look back in the 50s, even into the 60s, there was still more than 20 Western TV shows airing each week on network TV. But we got to remember we had, what, 3 channels back then? Not a lot of options of what we're going to watch. Now, I'm going to point out this mountain peak that's right behind Shelton Hall. When we get down the street, you'll be able to see it better. That is Golden Gate Mountain, called a signature landmark out here at Old Tucson. With over 400 movies and TV episodes filmed out here, that mountain is virtually seen in every one of them. You're talking episodes of Bonanza, Have Gun Will Travel, The High Chaparral, The Young Riders, and even some Little House on the Prairie. Hi, Grandpa. Hi, Grandpa. He's noisy. All right, now where was I? Hi, my name is Teresa. That green trim building right over there is an actual Southern Pacific Railroad station. It was brought up here from Amado, Arizona, just south of here. You can see that building in a movie called 310 to Yuma. But I am not talking about the one with Russell Crowe. The original black and white version with Van Heflin and Glenn Ford. For you Glenn Ford fans here, he starred in 7 movies out here at Old Tucson, more than any other actor. Now Jack Elam did 7 movies out here as well, but he was never labeled the star. I give him credit though, he did an awesome job. Now, you are all huge John Wayne fans, yes?
Yes!
And it's really quiet up here and back there. If you're not a John Wayne fan, this is going to be a really long tour. John Wayne in his career, excuse me, starred in over 165 movies. That alone is like 4 times more than any actor today will even think of doing in their lifetime. But out of all those movies, he actually only filmed 4 of them out here at Old Tucson. The Freight Depot building right back behind Phoebe's here was built for the 2nd movie that he did out here called McClintock, co-starring with Maureen O'Hara. Unfortunately, though, all the parts of that building ended up on the cutting room floor, so you don't get to see it in the movie. It was built for that production. Maureen O'Hara, she passed away a couple years ago, 94 years old. Great actress, beautiful lady, starred in over 40 movies in her whole career. Very impressive for a female back then. 5 of those were with John Wayne. And they were always a dysfunctional couple at each other. And they did it great, didn't they? Just like real life married couples. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was going to point out on the front of Phoebe's, come back up later because we don't have time if you want to get to the Can show. There's a framed photograph on the wall depicts a scene out of a movie that you see the building in. You see what it looked like then versus now. I'm going to point out some other ones, so let's get down the road. And remember, we want to...
There's quite a few people here.
Yeah. There wasn't that many when I went inside.
Yeah, they just kind of came out of the woodwork. Come up here on the sidewalk.
Oh, you're thinking.
So back in 1939, when Columbia came out here for that movie Arizona, they sent the art department and production staff back into Tucson. They combed through old blueprints and plans of the city, looked at a lot of old-time photographs. Their intentions were to recreate the city of Tucson as it looked back in 1862, thus calling us Old Tucson. Preferred building material back in those days was the adobe block. You would have to use your imagination though and eliminate our front entrance gate building because it would not have been here during all the years of the big movies. And you can see 60 some miles south all the way down to the Sierra Rita Mountains. And that was something that they wanted to show you in those movies, was the vastness of the Wild West that Arizona has to offer. Take a good look when you go to leave because it's still wide open and gorgeous. Now, I want to talk about what John Wayne did do out here. 1958, his first movie was Rio Bravo. You start watching that movie in the first 5 minutes or so, you're going to see a wagon train coming into town right up this street. It was led by Ward Bond and a very young Ricky Nelson. The ladies always like that. But they're stopped in this general area by another actor named Dean Martin. Now there, what a great actor to portray a drunken deputy sheriff like that. He was my hero. Look at the research and dedication of that role. Actors today wouldn't do that. If you pause the movie though, right there where Dean stops the wagon train and look behind them, this is the view you're gonna see. Every one of these adobe buildings, but all the way down to the mountains. Not a lot has honestly changed since back then. Now the blacksmith shop right here is also an original building from 1939, also used in Rio Bravo. Later in the movie, Dean Martin finally goes and takes a bath, puts on clean clothes. Wayne sent him back out to the end of town here. He's stopping everybody coming into town. Had them hanging their guns up on the fence across the street. He felt sorry for his hungover self that morning. He was out here looking at his reflection in the water trough. 4 bad guys come out of the blacksmith shop and jumped him, dunked him in the water, drug him back in there, hog-tied him and left him laying in there. It happened there, don't look at me like that. The next building over, McClintock's Mercantile. I want to talk about the large barn portion in the back. To me, this building is the biggest icon left out here. It was built for John Wayne for that Rio Bravo movie, but he used it in all 4 of his movies. No matter which one you watch, you can pick that building out without a problem and now say, I've been there. Rio Bravo, the end of the movie, out the back door of that barn was the hostage exchange scene. Dean Martin for Claude Higgins. Little Ricky Nelson was hanging out the back window shooting a gun. He went right through that side door over there, tossed the gun to Dean Martin, who was hiding in the ruins behind this building. All the bad guys were in the warehouse, sat out there where the theater is now. There was one other old guy in that movie, if y'all remember him, old Stumpy, Walter Brennan. He was out there in the wash, throwing the dynamite at the warehouse, and Wayne and Martin are shooting at it to blow it all up. There's a story out here they had to blow it up twice. First time they forgot they had stuff stored inside. When they blew it up, they made a big mess. They had to clean it up, rebuild it, and blow it up again. Had been a blast shooting movies with those guys. 61, he came out and did McClintock with Maureen O'Hara. If you remember anything at all from that movie, it was she gave him lip through the whole movie. By the end of it, he had had enough. He's chasing her all around town. You'll see a scene though where she runs across the bridge and into a barn, back door to McClintock barn. She ran out the front door, a cowboy shuts the door on her, ripped her petticoat off, she ran right down the street here in her bloomers. 66, he came out and did El Dorado with Robert Mitchum and James Caan. James Caan's character was Mississippi, and he had a knife to throw because he couldn't shoot a gun. Wayne took him out in the desert, tried to teach him. Couldn't hit the broadside of a cactus. He says we're gonna have to go see the Swede. That's when the front lower portion was added onto the barn. That is Swede's gun shop. You go standing there at the front counter, you were right where James Caan and John Wayne stood by that sawed-off double-barrel scattergun. Only difference when you watch the movie, the doors swing in, now they swing out. Rewatch it. His 4th and final movie out here was Rio Lobo. Once again, the end of the movie, out the back door of that barn was the gunfight. This time though, the real Louisville River was out there. On the other side of the river where they blew up the original warehouse, they built a cantina. Jack Elam and John Wayne are in the cantina shooting across the river at the bad guys in the back of the McClintock barn. Now that river was a 2-foot deep dry wash bed, similar to what we're going to cross up here. Right before the final gunfight, they flooded it with 50,000 gallons of water. The actors were in there on their knees, rolling around, making it look really deep. Pay attention when you rewatch it, you'll know what they're doing in there. Come back up here later on. Photographs on the front of both buildings, but also go around outside to the back door of McClintock. There's photographs and movie posters. When you see them, you'll be like, I remember that. Let's get down the road.
Can I hold it? My best friend that died. They asked to lease his boat for filming of McClintock. Her dad said no. He said thought he could make
Slackers gotta buy me ice cream. Alright, these buildings were added just 6 years ago. It's called Heritage Square. It's a big open area, so obviously it gives the town a lot more character. A couple summers ago, a Food Network show called Chop used this for the background for a barbecue series. Also that series called Legends and Lies for Fox Network. 7 episodes of that filmed out here, utilizing a lot of this group of buildings as well. Town Hall, the tall copper top building on the next street. There's a DVD about what John Wayne did out here, playing all day long. It's narrated by Robert Shelton, the old owner out here. Check it out. There's another DVD playing up in Shelton Hall. It's a lot of still photographs from movies that were filmed out here over the years. And I guarantee if you watch it, you will walk away like, wow, I did not know all that happened out here. You truly would be amazed at what they've accomplished. Now, on a serious note, back in April of 1995, we did have a fire out here. We lost about 40% of the parts of that fire. Virtually everything north behind me was taken out. That's why this was still a big open area. They had not rebuilt Hotel Del Toro. The apothecary and the brewery to the left of it are original adobes from 1939. Del Toro started off as a single-story adobe. The latter part of the 40s, they gave it a second floor, put wood all over it, and then shot a movie out here called The Last Outpost, which starred a man that later became our president. Ronald Reagan. Who was his co-star? Not Nancy, not Jane Wyman, not Marina Harry, not Betty White, not Lucille Ball, any other guesses? We got to get to Can show in time.
Bonzo.
How about Rhonda Fleming? She's still alive. She's 95 years old. You all forgot about her. That's sad. That's sad. There's a picture of her over there on the wall. Check it out later. I will then assume that you do not know that Rhonda Fleming came back out here in '57, co-starring in Gunfight at the OK Corral with Kirk Douglas, Burt Lancaster, and John Ireland. Did ya? What do you do now? That movie was filmed out here, Gunfight at the OK Corral. Not very historically accurate though, because the gunfight lasted almost 10 minutes. You do know it was over in like 30 seconds, right? All right, at least you know that. In the 80s, they came through and put stucco on her, gave her that Spanish colonial look. Shot another movie out here with 3 men. Steve Martin, Chevy, Jason Martin, short called
Three Amigos.
Who remembers the Three Amigos salute? The whole thing, not just the very end. That's what the guys remember. Today. Don't try this at home, I am a paper fish.
Whoa!
That's usually all the men remember. 2011, Kix Brooks from the music group Brooks and Dunn came out here for a movie called Ambush at Dark Canyon. It was right before these buildings were added. He used Hotel Del Toro's a big bank robbery scene. He gets on his horse right there, runs right through there and out to the desert. He is so much better looking in person, ladies, than that movie. I don't know what happened. Let's head over to our mission set. Stampede coming through. Old-time photo, if anybody wants to get their pictures done. We do specialize in role reversal. Ladies get to be the cowboys. Gentlemen, there's an outfit in there called Naughty Nelly. It would look right fetching on. There's a guy right there in the blue shirt. Let's see. Anybody else? Salt and pepper goes great with salt and pepper. Look. Oh, it'll look right fetching on him too, right here in the middle. Blue hat. This is Mission Santa Maria. You can come back up here later, look at the picture board of her changes through the years. The original mission, though, was just a tiny little adobe structure. I was told that that is the original bell up there from 1939. However, I forced myself to watch that Arizona movie several times. It took me several times to get through it once. There was no stinking bell in that movie. I don't know where it came from, but not 1939. In the 50s, they made the mission a little bit bigger. Rewatch El Dorado. Wayne and Mitchum chase the bad guys up the street. They run and hide inside that mission. As they come up the street to catch them, you get to see everything that used to be out here around it. Then they bust in the door and had a gunfight on the inside, so you saw that as well. Another great movie is what's actually pictured right here. It's called The Sackets. And ladies, if you have never seen that movie, I strongly urge you get a copy. And I can give you 4 of the best reasons in the world. You probably only need the first one, but we're going to give you 4. Sam Elliott. Woohoo! Glenn Ford, woohoo! Ben Johnson, and Tom Selleck. And it's a double DVD. You get them all night long. Oh, seriously, all right, scoot up. Stagecoach wants to go through. Sackets. It's spelled right here if you need to learn how to spell it, folks. Sackets. Alright, now you can get back out if you want to. Alright, in the 80s they came through and put a facade on the front of that original mission. Gave it that big Spanish colonial look to it. But when you walked inside, you still walked inside the little old mission. That's the mission you saw in the movie Tombstone. That opening scene where they came in and shot up the wedding party. You would have seen it in Smokey and the Bandit Part 2 with Burt Reynolds, the whole Mexican plaza that was out here. You would have seen it in the Three Amigos. It was not El Guapo's castle in that movie, though. That $600,000 castle was built further out in our desert, and all that we have left to show for it is one chunk of stone sitting in the ruins around the corner here. When the fire of '95 came through, it took out this whole area. We lost that original mission. When they rebuilt the Spanish colonial style, very similar and in the same position. 2:30, your big Hollywood stunt show will be out here. I got one more stop, and then we're just going to walk right around and go right back to the Can-Can show.
Nope. I had a good stop there for a little while.
You see with the windows in front is the last of the originals from 1939 that you'll see on the property. The furniture and other items inside are leftover remnants from Little House on the Prairie. So check that out. Let's keep moving. We gotta make it time here. Funny looking birds out here, don't we? Once again, Golden Gate Mountain. Signature landmark here in Old Tucson. If you want to add smaller productions like music videos, commercials and things, now you're talking upwards of 900 productions since 1939. At the base of it, you see the set for shop around. Over 65% of those episodes were filmed right there. You can walk up there and check it out. That is the original homestead and barn and stuff. But do not be upset when you go inside and it looks nothing like the show did. The homestead was too dark for acoustic, so all the interior was actually filmed on a soundstage. We did not have a soundstage at the beginning of that, so the first 2 years were done on one in California. Many years after the High Shafter route was over, they reused that set for the Young Riders. 40 episodes of that filmed in the same manner. Now we had the only soundstage in the state of Arizona, and it was an enormous building. The outside was all false fronted, so it looked like all these other stores and shops would have been located down here at that tree line. There was another large building off of that that housed one of the world's largest Western wear wardrobe departments you would find. Say that 5 times fast. The sheriff's office was back here, town hall, several other buildings. A whole nother street called Kansas Street. That is where the arsonist set the fire. It was proven to be arson. Nobody was ever found guilty, so if anybody's got any information, let us know. We want to string them up. Yeah. Right. Now this street back here, Kansas Street, had a big town feel to it. When Michael Landon was here, it was known as Mankato Street. Anytime Little House on the Prairie was filmed in the big city of Mankato, Minnesota, it was filmed right here. He did a great job of hiding all of that. Landon was a big, big part of the family and the history out here. Not only Little House. I'm going too fast trying to get you to show. He did work with Father Murphy, Highway to Heaven, many other smaller productions, tons of commercials and other things. He loved it out here. A big, big part of the family. Now we're going to start walking around, but I want to talk about this train while we do so. So come on. That is the Reno. She was built back in 1872 by Baldwin Locomotive Works in Philadelphia. She was made for the Virginia and Truckee Railroad in Nevada, pulling passenger cars from Reno to Carson City and other towns. How she got her name, the Reno. She's pulled presidents around the country. She's been used in well over 100 movies and TV shows. You might have seen her in episodes of How the West Was Won. You would have seen her in McClintock, Tombstone. Kenny Rogers used her in The Gambler. Will Smith blew her up in the Wild Wild West. Clint Eastwood smashed her through the wall of the saloon. Joe Kidd. She's been abused. Now there used to be a train station out there and other cars attached to her that was all engulfed by the fire. She was almost totally destroyed. They have fixed her up cosmetically so they can still use her, but no longer in running condition. So if anybody's got a bunch of money and you want a great fixer-upper project, we got it. Alright, as far as filming, we still do filming out here. Independent films, lower budget things, music videos, commercials, things like that. Go on YouTube right now. Look up Maren Morris, female country singer. Last year she shot her music video called Rich out here. Check it out, it was shot entirely on location. There's 2 movies out there right now you can find. One of them was really good. It's called Cassidy Red. Well worth 10 bucks because I know you can find it for $10 or less. UCLA students did it, but it's an excellent little movie. Totally held my interest all the way through it. There's another one called The West and the Ruthless. Very hard to follow storyline, not my cup of tea. And the ending leaves you hanging like, did she die? But the cinematography was awesome. So if you'd like to see how they did our part, which was amazing to us on the big screen, whoa, how did they make that look like that? Interesting from that point of view. Watch it twice, you'll figure out the storyline. Just pretend she's dead at the end and leave it at that. All right? I'll be around the rest of the day. If you got questions, you want to come up and talk to me, grab me, not a problem. Can show right here, right now. Thank you for joining me.
So you want to do the can show?
It's up to you. It's up to you. What do you want to do?